Okay, so we were talking about black and red in the other example a little bit ago. So when I have one black chip, it's just a black square of paper, this stands for one positive. And if I have this, it stands for one negative. So a black chip is one positive, a red chip is one negative. So that we need to keep in mind as we use our chips to model our addition. So let's say we have the problem. Let's start easy. 3 plus 2. Hopefully we all can do that one in our head. So we start with 3 black chips on the board because that's where we start. And we're going to add to it 2 black chips. So 3 plus 2, 3 positives plus 2 more positive gives us a total of 5 positives. So far so good? Let's take those away. Let's say I have -1. So I start with -1 on my board. And so I have $1 of debt. I owe somebody $1. And I add to that $3 worth of debt because I need to borrow more money to buy something I want. So I'm going to add $1, $2, $3 worth of debt onto what I started with. So I started with 1. I added 3 more negatives to it. Now I have a total, when I put them together, of -4. So -1 plus -3 is -4. If I start with $2 worth of debt, I start with that on the board, that's what it's telling me to do, and I'm going to now add to it $5 that I made mowing a lawn. So I owe my mom $2, but I earned $5 from mowing my neighbor's lawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, $5. The question is, what do I have now? Well, 1 negative and 1 positive, when you put them together, they counteract each other, or they negate each other. So this is 0. Right here, what my fingers are on is with 0. So I can take that off the board, and it doesn't change the value. This also is 0. This can come away. So now I'm left with 3 positives. So if I was $2 in debt, the first 2 of these 5 made those go away, and now I'm left with 3 positives. Let's say I start with -$5. So think about how you would represent that on the board. I use 5 red chips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 red chips. I have -5. And I'm going to add $3 to that. My uncle gave me $3. So here's my $3 that my uncle gave me. What's my value? Well, together, this is nothing. Take it away. These 2 are nothing. And these 2 are also 0. So I'm left with just $2 worth of debt. That's how we use chips. We can also use, some of you will like chips, some of you will like the way that works. Others of you might prefer to think of this in the terms of number lines. Let me zoom out a little so I can get them all on there. Okay, so we have number lines. So if I start again with an easy one that we should all be able to do, I have $1, I make $3. To show that on the number line, I put a dot where I start. I have $1 to start, and I'm adding 3. So I'm going up 3. I add 3 positives. That's this direction, right? And I end up at 4, because 1 plus 3 is 4. If I start at -1, I would put my dot at -1 now. And I'm going to add $2 more worth of debt to my situation. So now I go left. I'm adding negatives. I'm going more in this direction to the left. So I add 2 negatives, 2 steps in the negative direction. I end up at -3. So -1 plus -2 equals -3. The trick comes when you start adding different signed numbers. So I'm going to start at 2, and I'm going to add 5 negatives. That means I go left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I end up at -3. And let's say I start at -4 and I add 2. Well, dot where you start. I'm adding 2 positives, that's moved to the right direction. So I end up right here at -2. So depending on where you are, where you start, sometimes you may end up with a positive number, sometimes you may end up with a negative number, but these are just 2 tools to help you figure out where and which way you should be moving and going.